newspaper review time. Let's look to the inner pages and speak to my voice in my ear, my trusty voice. Hello, Dave.
Good morning, Johnny. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. How am I doing, mate?
I think you're doing okay.
Doing all right?
We've managed to get through 3 nights.
You've done all right.
We're still on air.
Dave.
You and I haven't been fired, so we must be doing something.
Still
right.
26 minutes to go for that.
Good point.
So let's turn to the insides of the pages. And should we go first to The Sun, where a pup was saved by a drone? I thought that was a very lovely story.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the papers today, obviously, once again, are majoring on the events in the capital and leading up to the funeral. So there are a lot of pages of that. But so what I've done is I've gone through to try and find the more interesting ones.
I mean, we've done a lot of Queen stuff.
Yes,
and you know, there's no pushback. But you know, there's other things to be gotten on with. So let's see what happened on page 17 of The Sun.
So this... I love these type of stories. A lost dog has been found by using a drone minutes before a massive storm hit, apparently. The runaway schnauzer...
I love that. Runaway schnauzer. That's cracking journalese, isn't it?
It is. I love the name Schnauzer as well. I always think it's got a great ring to it. Apparently called Hilda. And he was... disappeared out of sight into fields, and the owner Erica Hart. Why do they always put people's ages on these things? I don't know. But
she's 33, by the way.
I wasn't going to say that, but never mind.
She's young enough to be to not be embarrassed.
Fair enough. Anyway, she found a friend who'd got a drone, and off they went. And amazingly found this dog.
That is amazing.
That had done a runner 4 miles away from where she last saw it.
So it had a camera on it, and they went looking for Doggy, and said Doggy was found.
Yes.
Isn't that lovely?
Isn't that a lovely, feel-good story?
And talking of feel-good, because this is like everyone's dream, a teenager has hacked Uber.
Yes.
This is a cracker here. Uber was forced to shut down several of its internal software systems after a hacker appeared to gain full access to its entire network. Think of all those Toyota Priuses going round in circles.
What makes this even worse is the fact that this 15-year-old that claims to have done this, he just text messaged somebody at Uber and managed to get them to give them their password.
Stop it.
So that they could access he could access all their networks.
That is unbelievable. And so, did he cause any damage, or was it just for fun?
I think he did it just for fun. I mean, he's put up a message on there saying that Uber drivers should be paid more, which I think is true, because they don't get an awful lot.
No. Do you remember the story about 2 years ago where a group of guys took Uber to court because they wanted to have employment rights as opposed to being freelance?
Oh, yes, that's right.
And so they had to pay them by the hour and give them paid holiday.
And sick leave and everything.
And I have to
that.
tell you, I think that is a calamitous mistake, because before that time, you had Uber drivers who were prepared to work and work very hard, and it was their second job. And the amount of guys that I spoke to, predominantly guys, were doing other jobs, and this was fill-in. These were guys maybe building... In one particular case, a guy was opening up a kebab shop, and he needed money from Uber to sort of continue funding the opening of his new business. Now, if he's an employee and getting taxed at source, he can't go to his accountant and take the money he was earning from Uber and then invest it in his business. And it means that people around the country who are Uber drivers can't just get in their car and go to another part of the country and start earning their living. And I think it actually is an impediment to people's freedom, not just the drivers themselves, but us passengers who have to pay more for the privilege to cover these social costs. And I think it's a shame.
Well, yeah, I mean, the amount of Ubers I get, and you're right, they're always people who've got another job.
Yeah.
And the guys that I talk to in the early hours as I come home from usually working here, they're sort of going, oh, yeah, well, I work at they're a chef in a restaurant, or they work in a bar, or, as you say, a builder or something, and they're doing it just to top up their finances.
Because it's hard out there.
Yes, and it's even more hard at the moment, as we know. So
people have more than one job now. People have more than one career. I've got to tell you, I am of a certain age, and I've been out there in the world of work for, 3 decades, and I do almost every job that I've ever done in my life. Okay, I'm still doing some of the jobs I did as a teenager and in my 20s and 30s and 40s. I'm not just a television presenter, but they all feed into each other. The expertise, the learnings from completely different unallied trades helps me deliver a better level of conversation. It doesn't help me with Andrew Lound because I never did space.
No.
But it's an amazing thing to be able to sort of be armed with certain knowledge and skills that you bring into your other day job. And I would absolutely encourage people to have a portfolio career, whatever your career is, whatever your skills set is. If you can monetize it, then you'd be surprised at how they feed into each other.
I actually think that the guy that hacked into Uber, he missed a trick there.
Go on.
He could have given us all 5-star ratings, couldn't he?
Yeah, I've got 4.7, which is a bit annoying because I've been nothing but polite.
I'm down to 4.93.
Oh, get you. What happened?
I don't know. That's the problem.
You've taken more journeys than me. OK, so we're going to pop to the Mirror, page 23, and here we have 2 very well-known breakfast TV presenters wearing dark coats and sunglasses because they were crying behind it, and that is Susanna Reid and Sean Williams, and they arrived to celebrate the life of their colleague Bill Turnbull at his funeral yesterday. Naga Munchetti was there, Martha Carney and Charlie State, Charlotte Hawkins, I know well from Sky News now. She's at Good Morning Britain. And everyone was there, and poor Bill, I mean, he didn't make old bones, did he? He died of cancer. Yeah, at age 66. It spread, obviously, from his prostate to the rest of his body. And so lots of well-known and well-loved people were at the Holy Trinity Church in Blytheborough in Suffolk.
Very sad.
Yeah.
So, shall we take a break?
Yeah, we will. Let's take a short break, Dave. I am reviewing the newspapers with the voice in my head the last 3 days of overnights here, and I've had an absolute ball standing in for Petrie to start with, and then Daryll. I hope you've enjoyed it too. I've had an absolutely great time. I'm Jonny Gould. I'm here until 4 o'clock. Who knows when I shall be back, but whenever it is, I look forward to it. We've got 2 amazing stories here. First of all, a headline from the Daily Mail which would be worthy of the Sun, which is Tom's Mission Impossible, because the superstar's filming of Mission Impossible was brought to a halt by a flock of sheep. It's a good picture story.
You couldn't make this one up.
You couldn't make it up, as David Coleman would say. There it is.
Beautiful shot there.
Yeah. Me and sheep. There you go.
So they were filming up in the Lake District, and where the crew had all set up, they'd got their tents and everything set up for all the production crew, and I dare say they were cooking food as well.
Yeah.
And yes, this flock of sheep just sort of wandered over, and that sort of brought the filming to a swift halt.
Could they not write them into the script?
Well, I don't know. Possibly. Possibly.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
Of course, the film would then be called Mission Possible.
That's a good point, yes.
Yeah, can't
that
do
would
that.
break it.
So that's in your Daily Mail.
Yeah, apparently he was parachuting in, so, and as we know, Tom likes to do all of his stunts himself.
Yeah.
So maybe he could have been attacked by a sheep. I don't know. Maybe it was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That's right, and most overdue as well.
Yes.
Now, The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Michael Jordan's Last Dance jersey sells for a record $10 million at auction. Someone's got far too much money. The Chicago
Cost
Bulls...
of living crisis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, someone's not going to be suffering from that. The Chicago Bulls number 23, Michael Jordan, in action at the 1998 NBA Finals, in which he wore the jersey. I'm just going to show you this. This is Michael Jordan from downtown. There we go, Michael Jordan. Tell us about this.
Well, it's one of those memorabilia auctions that you see all about. And, yes, they put this jersey up for auction and $10.9 million, which works out to be about £8.87 million.
Yes, which makes Maradona's $9.28 million for the Hand of God goal over Peter Shilton's nut quite cheap.
Yes.
It made Steve Hodge an absolute fortune because Steve Hodge was the England player who swapped shirts with him.
Oh, so he managed to get the shirt?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and he sold it, didn't he?
Well, apparently in the game that Jordan wore this shirt, he scored 33 points, but it was a loss against the Utah Jazz team.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz team.
Yeah.
Sounded like you read the news there for the BBC World Service.
Thank you.
Utah Jazz team. It's not a musicians troupe. It's a basketball team.
There are still relative bargains to be had for those with deep pockets. This week, Sotheby's sold a signed Roger Federer racket used at the 2011 French Open for a relatively modest $50,400. The reason it was cheap was that Rafa Nadal won that title. Do you know what I mean? That's why. You don't want that. You want Rafa's title, don't you?
Well, at least it wasn't smashed or something.
Well, that would be McEnroe's.
That would be an old McEnroe one, wouldn't it?
While a signed pair of Serena Williams trainers went for $5,000. I mean, first of all, that's a lot of shoe there because she's got big feet, hasn't he? She, beg your pardon, he.
But I don't understand why people buy this stuff. I mean, what are you going to do with it?
Well, show your mates. What have I got? I've got memorabilia that I didn't pay for. I've got a beautiful A4 piece of paper with all the Liverpool Football Club signatures from 1979 because my Uncle David and Auntie Jill were on the same flight as them and they got all of them. And this is the Liverpool team of 78-79, which was arguably the greatest Liverpool team of them all because they won the European Cup and they only conceded 16 goals the whole season and they only conceded 4 at home. Incidentally, we beat them 3-1 that season as well. That was good.
You've actually just shocked me. You just said that you have an Uncle David and an Auntie Jill.
Stop it. Do you have one as well?
Yes.
Amazing. It's not the same people, is it?
I don't know. They're on my dad's side. But yeah.
So, all right, brother.
All right, man.
All right, man. There's three of us. There's 3 of us in this marriage. All right, man. All right, Bubba.
Right. That's my Ash impression out the way. Right, page 11 of The Star. You've got me going here.
Page 11 of The Star.
Here we go.
Oh, now this one is anybody going out to the World Cup this year?
Yeah, because Qatar, you're not allowed to drink booze, are you?
Well,
it's
they've relaxed the rules.
Have they?
Yeah, they're relaxing.
They haven't half.
I'm not sure by how much, though, when you read this. There's a theory that fans will be paying £13 per bottle for a bottle of beer at the World Cup finals because Qatar limit the amount of alcohol that's sold to restaurants and hotels and various places.
Right.
So the cost of alcohol is quite high already.
Yeah, because they've got to import it all, haven't they?
Exactly. And now they're going to bump it up a bit more because there's going to be quite a large run on it.
Yes, of course there are.
So if you are going out to the World Cup this year, I dare say you need deep pockets.
The irony is that your ticket's going to be cheaper than getting drunk.
Yes, you're probably right there. Yeah,
and being an England fan, of course, getting knocked out in the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, you always will. You'll need to be on the booze to get over it as well.
Oh, it'll be penalties. It's always penalties.
Penalties against the Portuguese or the Germans. Anyway.
But be warned.
Go on.
Because the tournament website warns that drinking alcohol outside of designated areas is prohibited. So you could be out there for a long time if you decide to go out in the street drinking your bottle of beer that you've just spent £13 on.
Serious question here. There's going to be a clash of cultures, isn't there? Between
just slightly.
The few thousand English boys and girls who go out and the Qataris who will have never seen anything quite like it. And I'm wondering how many of them will be kept there and detained at His Majesty's pleasure. And I think the Sultan, or whatever he is over there, is not very pleasurable. And you better watch out with your Heineken, your 13 quid bottles of beer, because it's not a place to mess about and make jokes with the constabulary.
No.
You know,
they're not just going to put you in the slammer for the night, are they? Until you sober up.
In the Qatari police, you know, they don't go hello, 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 salam alaikum, salagam alaikum. What's going on here? Then it's not the same in Qatar. I am appalled that we've got the World Cup there. I am. I think it's horrible. It's a shame.
There's another story in the Star that I've just spotted, which is actually opposite the one we've just talked about. But this is something that I've noticed. The number of unskippable ads that are cropping up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Because you're not allowed to press the button till 5 seconds.
No. And some you have to watch all the way through.
I'm not watching 1 minute 45 seconds of, you can be fit and strong like me. Hi, I'm an American. And look at me. I used to be 23 pounds and now I'm $15. What a load of rubbish. Get off. I want to watch Julia ranting.
So all these people have got these smart TVs that they've spent a fortune on, and they're trying to watch stuff on YouTube, are sitting there mainly watching adverts, and they're not happy.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that either.
People are now beginning to vent on other forms of social media. Where there's
vent.
Yes.
Like this. They're fuming.
The other thing that I've noticed going through the papers this morning, entirely different, is the fact that this weekend the BBC was supposed to launch Strictly Come Dancing. So a lot of the papers in their supplements that they have on Saturdays have got loads of information about the contestants all taking part in Strictly Come Dancing that doesn't start until next weekend.
Can I say something about Strictly?
Go on.
Right, it used to be Come Dancing, and it was ballroom dancing, and it was at
Angela Rippon.
Hello, I'm Angela Rippon, and wonderful things. And obviously, we know ballroom dancing is quite competitive and bitchy, and there were winners, and they were usually professionals, people like Anton Dubek. Going back in the 1980s, Anton Dubek's mum and dad. And it was gentle, it was nice and everything, but it wasn't gentle, it was very competitive.
Did Bruce Forsyth do the original?
Yeah, he did. But what is... I mean, and they've done an amazing job rebranding it and introducing, this form of traditional dancing back to a new generation. But what is this term Strictly?
I don't know.
It's like, it sounds a bit masochistic. It's like, does it need Strictly?
Well,
what is Strictly?
Well, it's bizarre because when it first started with all the celebs,
they
were doing just ballroom dances. So it was Strictly Come Dancing. But now they've introduced like all these modern dances to it.
Yeah.
And so is that Strictly Come Dancing? Because that wasn't in the original Come Dancing.
It's revisionist Come Dancing.
Where, of course, it's only Strictly Come Dancing in the UK, where they've sold it all over the planet.
Oh, what's it called there?
It's Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars!
Which is a lot more sensible a title, because there are stars and people are dancing with them.
I think that's... But, of course, we do have a brand to keep up with, and I suppose that you need to call it Come Dancing from the... because that was the daddy or the mummy of the original output.
And the goes to prove nobody can come up with a new idea. So
but it's good because it relates to the past. And
indeed.
I did love Bruce doing it.
Oh, he was brilliant, wasn't he?
Because he danced.
Yeah, and he could dance, he could sing, he could host. He was brilliant. He just did everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but what was this? What was that?
I've never quite understood, because it's a bit like The Thinker, isn't it? The Generation Game.
Yeah.
With Bruce Forsyth and...
Anthea Redfern.
Anthea Redfern.
And also the nice Scottish lass. Do you remember her?
Oh, yes.
Isla St Clair.
Isla St Clair, that was the one I was
I think Lorraine Kelly owes an enormous amount to Isla. Because when GMTV, or whatever they were called back in 1842, TVAM, looked at the nice Scottish girl, I think she had a sort of homeliness based upon Isla.
Yes. I think you could be onto a winner there.
And I've got to say that when Bruce left the Generation Game,
they brought Larry Grayson in,
it could have easily gone south, but they brought along one of the funniest men in the history of British television.
Shut that door.
Shut that door. I love Larry Grayson. I absolutely love him. And God rest his soul. Apparently after the show, right, each Saturday night...
Or whenever they filmed it.
Yeah, he used to just go home to Nuneaton and have a little sing-song and a party with his friends. The Rolls-Royce used to drive home the roller, go back to Nuneaton to his normal, nice, detached home, and all his mates used to come round and they used to have, vol au vents and a cup of tea and a bit of champagne until 1 a.m, and then he went to bed. And I just love Larry so much. And there was that, like, if you look it up on YouTube, not while we're on air, obviously.
We're going in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to watch anything else. But
No.
But when you do, there's him in a leotard, and he's sort of involved in this sort of mad sketch, and he's running around. He looks into the sort of the fourth wall. What's it called? The third wall, the second wall, where he looks at the camera.
Fourth wall.
The fourth wall.
The fourth wall.
And he goes, "Well, what are you laughing at? I'm going out tonight." And I have never stopped laughing at that for about 5 years, and I'm probably going to watch it again today. Love Larry Grayson.
Now you've remembered. Now you've brought out that.
And he did so well, didn't he?
He did. It was
He
brilliant.
did so well.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Saturday night TV. Whatever happened to proper Saturday night telly?
Yeah, Anton Deck privatised it,
Yes.
didn't they? And, I don't know if they're your cup of tea, but I much prefer those old Lodge Dawson and all those other fellas. I mean, I am of a certain age, but weren't they the greatest, Morecambe and Wise?
Oh, yes.
The two Ronnies, the intelligent face of... they were sort of the TW3 characters, the David Frost, the Willie Rushton sort of heritage that went mainstream into television as they did.
But very clever with their wordplay.
Oh, Gerald Wiley, a.k.a. Ronnie Barker.
I'm being waved at to say that it's nearly time to go.
Is it?
I'm afraid so.
I might
yes.
lock myself in the studio and insist the show must go on.
Right, well, that could be interesting because it's a rerun of The Talk coming up.
I'm not going to do that.
Oh, OK.
Because I'd like to come back, ladies and gentlemen. I have really enjoyed your company. You have been a magnificent set of callers, texters, tweeters, and Dave in my ear roll has been, well, he's been my consistent. He's been like my queen. And it's probably the first time you've ever been called that, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jimmy.
There you go. Queen Dave Rhodes has been my producer. And thank you to all the rest of my team, which has been... what's your name? James. Thank you, James. You've been brilliant tonight. I'm Jonny Gould. The talk
Carl's
is next.
here as well.
Carl, thank you very much to everyone. I'm Jonny Gould.